Are you managing rental properties but is still struggling to know who has paid rent, which houses are vacant, or how much profit each property is really making? And I mean each property. Many agents and landlords rather, still rely on spreadsheets. By this I mean Excels or things like those. Manual water billing, scattered payment records, and unclear expense tracking, especially sana hapo kwa expense tracking. And this most of the time leads to lost money and constant disputes with your tenants. But now imagine if you could manage all your properties, tenants, rent collections, maintenance, utilities, and owner reports, that if you are an agent, in one smart system. And the outcome of that would be you'd know what is collected, what is owed, what is spent in terms of expenses, and what you owe the landlord or landlady. Watch this video because what I am just doing, I'm just trying to introduce what this is. So go ahead and watch this video and see how property management can finally become simple, transparent, and profitable. So what you are looking at here is a dashboard. And I will start by explaining what this dashboard is, and then I will go ahead and show you how this dashboard gets its data. So this is what we are calling the agent center, but you know it can also be the landlord center, it can be the landlady center, it can be the lesser. I understand that landlady and landlord can in one word be called lesser. So let's do this. Number one, the first card here shows you the collected amount. So this is the amounts that you have collected, and by collected, excuse me, allow me to close this thing out so that we don't hear those WhatsApp notifications. All right, it does not want to die. Wait, quit. It's not going. Let me, oh, quit all. That's fine. Okay, cool. Now all the money that you will have collected from your tenants is going to go here, and this is the money that has been invoiced, because ideally even if it's not paid, okay, even if the money is not paid and you have invoiced that money will go here. And then these are arrears. So every time you see an arrear here, you know that something is not right. So if you log in and you find, like today I'm seeing 19,482 here, you clearly know that there is a tenant that has defaulted on payments. All right, so you need to check that. So this is a metric that's going to be very, very important. And then this card is showing you how much is going to be due in the next 7 days, and apparently there is nothing. Okay, so most of the time, for example, if you collect most of your rent on 5th, then at around 1st, 31st, 2nd, just 7 days before 5th, there is going to be a huge amount here showing you what is going to be due in 7 days. But this, ideally, the invoice due date is what is going to be used to populate this figure. And then this card is going to show you how many houses you have vacant. But remember, here, if you check up here, we have a filter for properties. So what we have here is the vacant units in all the properties. But you can filter here by property if you have more than one property, and then this is going to give you the numbers per property. And this filter also applies for all these other dashboard section. So if you want to only see the dashboard for a specific property, you just filter that property out. Currently I have just one. You just filter that property out, and everything in this amazing dashboard is going to narrow down to just that one property. By the way, if you hover on any of these, you will see that we have also added tooltips, so you can know what exactly that thing is. And this card is mostly for the agents. This is what shows you how much money you owe the owner of the house, in this case the lessor. All right, so for example, here you can see there is negative 13,000. So most likely what happened here is that the agent has just collected some small amount of money, and they have probably had a lot of expenses in this house. So Currently, the owner of this house owes this agent 13,235.31. So this is where you're going to be seeing quickly after logging in, how much money do I owe the owner of the house. Row number one, done. Row number two, active leases. So these are leases. And what these active leases are going to tell you is that ideally you have 2 leases in your properties. Again, all the properties, you can have that filter here to see each property. And those are 2 leases that are active in all the properties that you are looking at here. Then here is the number of occupied units. Most of the time, the number of leases and the number of occupied units is going to be the same. Because I mean, why would you have, at what point can you have a unit that is occupied without a lease, or you have a lease without an occupied property? I mean an occupied unit. And by unit here, unit is the house unit. So most of the time, the leases, number of leases and number of units is going to be the same. And then here we have the pending approvals. These are, for example, expenses. So expenses are approved because my assumption here is that somebody is going to go and key in the expense, but it needs to be approved by either the accountant or somebody that has the privileges to do that. So this is what we have here. So you can see here we have 2 pending approvals that needs to be actioned on. Then here you have expenses. You see those little expenses that you do every time. Like for example, you have repainted a house, you have, let me see what else, you have replaced something in the house. Those are booked as expenses, so that when you are going to be checking the amount you owe the landlord, the lesser here, this is going to be one of the amount that's going to be deducted other than your commission. As an agent, that is. So if you are an agent, of course there is commission, there is this expenses, and now there is VAT. So which is here. So all those amounts are going to be deducted into the total collections before it is given. So we are explaining this card. So those are the expenses we are talking about. Then here we have the VAT payable. Now this is the money that you need to pay KRA. So this money is going to go here as VAT payable. Now, when you're setting up a property, I will show you in this video, you can put whether you want the property to be vatable or not. So if any property is vatable, then what that's going to mean is that there is going to be monies in this amazing card. Row number 2, done. Number 3, we have a graph. And this graph, if you look at it, it's telling us that these are collections trend, and it is showing us per day. So as you continue collecting, it's going to shift to weekly and then monthly. So currently we have data for days, so that's why it's looking like this. So here we have money collected on 2nd of April, which was 94,507. And then on that, we went down to 60,000. And then on 5th, we collected only 11 shillings. And somebody may wonder, how did we collect 11 shillings? But we are going to see, because when we continue with this demo, we are going also to see that today we are going to have something in this graph. Okay. So this graph will keep showing you the trend of what is happening. So by logging in like this as either an agent or a landlord, you're able to see very quickly how this trend looks and know what is happening in your collections. And remember, collections are well done from a tenant portal, which I am also going to show you. Now we go to arrears. Arrears is a huge card with a number of things. Number 1, we have pending. This is the amount of money that is pending. So these are invoices that you have sent out but are not paid, but they are not due. So the invoices are not due. All right. This card shows you the invoices that are due. So this is money that is overdue. You can even see here it's saying past due. So this card, again, like I said, is going to give you a huge green light, not green light rather, but a huge insights into what your collections are looking like. Then here we have a huge card that tells us overdue, and this is telling you past due items flagged overdue. So these are items that are going to be flagged overdue within your system. And then here we have past due items. So you can see the invoices. And we have this invoice for Karadi, 12,985. It's 2 days overdue. And you can see this invoice from Jacqueline or Jackie. Amount is 6,497 rather, and it's 2 days overdue. And you can also here quickly view its lease or view the specific invoice. Before we click on that, let's first of all continue. But if you click on this, actually I can show you. If you click on that, it's going to take you directly to that specific invoice, and you can see here actually there is an outstanding amount of this, but the total was this. So she has paid a bit of it, but this is the balance, and you can see here it's saying it's partly paid. Let's go back to our dashboard. So all those things are going to show up there. Don't forget that you can filter by property, so you can see these figures for each and every property. Let's go here, action queue. So every action as an agent or as a lessor, when you are using this system, all your actions are going to show here. So the system is intelligent enough to go and look for all the actions, or rather all the actions that need your attention, and display them for you here. You don't need to go checking what do I need to do, where is the notification, I don't know where is the other thing. No, log in, come here, everything will show. The first thing is the invoices that are overdue. Again, you can see overdue invoices are given a lot of attention in this system, so they are appearing almost everywhere, so you can see them there. We have due soon. These are the invoices that are going to be due soon. We don't have any. Paid, and these are the amounts that sorry, this is partly paid. So all the invoices that are partly paid are going to show here. All right, like these two, for example, are still also in partly paid. Not everything is paid, and you can also now here see the payment or the invoice. And then here we have vacancies. These are going to be the houses which are vacant. See, we had just one house, remember, when we were up here, this one. So all the vacancies, if you want to see all the vacancies quickly, just go down to action queue, go click on vacancies, and boom, all the vacancies show. And then you have any approvals pending your action, they are going to be here. And you can see here we have these two expenses. There is an expense for 1,000 and there is an expense for 2,400, and these are the two expenses that are bringing the total to this 3,400 total expenses there. So you just need to open it and approve. All right. And up here also we have the tenant payments pending. That is if you're paying out to tenants, for example, deposit refunds. And then here we have payment runs pending. Payment run is the money that you pay to the owner of the house, the lessor, if you are the landlord. So again, it is not just going to the system and clicking and it happens. It has to be approved by you or by the person you appoint, and those things are going to show here. Exemptions, if there is any exception in the system. So this is something that we like to get from the agent or the lessor themselves. So they tell us what exactly they want to be treated as an exemption, and it's going to come here. Okay, VAT. I mean expenses and VAT. First, we have expenses posted. We have not posted any expenses yet. The 3,400 is unposted. It is unposted because it is still pending approval. Where is it? If you come to, not vacancy, sorry, if you come to approvals here, you can see these expenses are still pending approval. So that is why they are showing in, where are we? We're here. Expenses pending approval, 3,400. Which have been approved yet? Nothing. And then here we have VAT payable. It's going to be this. So this is, I mean, going to be the same as what we had up here. So this is the VAT payable, but this is also appearing in the expenses and VAT section. And then down here, oh my goodness, I went up there, but and the expenses are also here. You see all the expenses now, one by one, expenses that are recorded in the system. And then here you have the occupancy and lease wordings. So number one, we have the occupancy rate. So if, for example, you filtered here by property, all right, then down here you'll see what is the average not average, but the percentage occupancy for that specific property. If you do not select a specific property there, then what you're going to be looking at is the percentage occupancy in all the properties or houses or flats that you are managing. So for example, here we have 3 units and 2 of them are occupied, 1 is not occupied. That is why we have 66.7%. Okay. You see it's saying occupied units divided by total units. All right. Then here we have the occupied, just 2. We have the vacant, 1. And then here we have expiring in 30 days, none. So these are leases. So again, by logging in, the system is able to show you very quickly which lease is expiring within the next 30 days, none. Which one is expiring in 60 days, which Jacqueline's is expiring in 60. And then we have which one is on notice, the same Jacqueline is on notice. So how about you go and change this Jacqueline to appear here? So you can see, you can just click on here. So again, the dashboard is not dead. If you click on that, it will take you to the lease. And you can see in the lease terms that the lease end date is the 26th of March. Let's change it to February 18th. Actually, let's just do end of February and we save. When we do that, when we come back to the dashboard, you'll see that when we come down here, now expiring in 30 days has gone to, Jacqueline's lease has gone to 30 days. And there is none that's expiring in 60. So again, this dashboard is intelligent. It's not waiting for you to just see something and then you go and look for it. I don't know from which ocean. It's here. So for example, this one, you just click on this and you see. You go directly to that document. So these are the ones that are notice. So every time a tenant gives a notice, again, if you log it into the system, and remember, tenants are also going to be giving notices through the tenant portal. So you can come in here and see, and I'll also show you the tenant portal within this video. So just hold on, there is a lot of good days ahead. So here on notice, anytime a tenant gives notice, they don't need to keep calling you, sending you WhatsApp messages which are difficult to trace, or SMSs. My goodness, no. They just go log. You're going to see it here, and then you can open, check the details, and voila, you're done. Now, in this section, we are calling it, or rather, we are calling this section property health, right? And property health is going to show you the details of each and every property, the health, in terms of occupancy, because as an agent or a lessor, the most important thing that you want to see is, or rather that you can call health in a property, is what is this, what is it, the percentage occupied. You cannot have a property having malaria. So when we say about health, we are talking about how much of it is occupied. So you're going to see the list of all the properties you have, the percentage occupied, the vacant units, the amounts that you have collected, and the expenses as at today. And that's all about the dashboard. And this is the place where you are going to be coming mostly. And you can also see here we have month to date filters. We have today only, you have 7 days, and you have last month, right? And then you have the refresh button. So again, these are filters that I can say, let me see last month. So it's going to just jump into January 1st to January 31st. Last 7 days, everything here changes to the last 7 days. Today only, so we can also see what has been collected today, and so on and so forth. And also expenses done today and all that. And again, these things are not cast in stone. Any report that you want us to give you, we can give you. Now, let me show you something quickly so that this video does not become like a series, right? Now, we want to see property first, because in property management we have properties, we have units, we have leases, and we have tenants. Those are 4 key documents. Okay, so we go to property list. We are expecting to see one property here, and that's what we have, because ideally that's the property that we saw. So creating a new property is as simple as coming here. So you click on this and you come to new property. Now you need to take your time here, because the information you're going to gather here is critical, but just do it once per property, just once per property. Okay, and here you can see you have you have legal and identity and legal. That's where you capture that information. You have location, where is this property located? We have commissions, and we have money flow. I'm going to be taking you through this one by one and explaining what these things are. This is going to be interesting, ladies and gentlemen. And then we have owner, payout, we have account mapping, and we have operations. All right, let's actually go ahead and create a property. Let me see, what did I call the other one? 001. Okay, let's create another. We are going to call this maybe 002. Property name, we are going to call it what? We are going to call it oh no, I want to call it Shama Heights. Shama Judah. That's a weird name. I mean Judah Heights. Then here you need to select what is it. Is it an apartment, estate, plaza, or this or that? Let's leave it as apartment. Portfolio is where you can group your properties by well, call it portfolio, but it depends on how you are grouping them. It could be by the lesser. So for example, you have lessers that have more than one property. Just create a portfolio for them, and then you are going to group all their properties by that portfolio. And when you are at the property level, you can pick a specific portfolio and see all the properties that they have, and you can also do report filters by that portfolio. So that's what this thing is. Property owner. So there is a difference. So portfolio is like a grouping. Owner is who is the owner of this thing. So you just need to either select an existing owner that you have already created. If not, you can go ahead and create a new owner. Okay, so let's just pick the one that is there for the purpose of this video. The in-depth video of showing you even how to create owners and things like those, we are going to do in a different video, or you request us for a demo, and we are happy. Listen, happy to do the demo. And here we have payout, security fund. This security fund is very, very important, and I'm going to be dwelling here a little bit later, explaining why this thing is important. So I must use my phone now, because if I use a random phone, then I will be stuck. So it's 0725 30 71 31. Then here we have management start date. When did you start managing this property? Let's say second. Management end date, if you know, we can say it's let's jump to 31st, and then we change this to 12. So I have done let me actually do 2028. So it's a contract of a number of years. Property status, we can leave it as a draft, or we can do active. And then we have this. Now listen, this is very important. You remember when we were looking at the dashboard, I told you that when we are setting the property, and I promised to show you, you can decide whether you want the property to charge VAT or to be VATable or not. If you come here and say no, all the invoices that you're going to be generating will not have VAT. So the system is not going to allocate any VAT for this property, this specific property. So if you want to charge VAT, and by VAT I don't mean the tenant is going to pay VAT separately. If you're, for example, charging your tenants 10,000 or 100,000, let's use 100,000. If you're charging 100,000 per month as rent, then when you say yes here, the system assumes that it will back engineer from the 100,000. So 100,000 is inclusive of VAT. So if you want to charge VAT, make sure you leave that there. If you don't want to charge VAT, so nothing is going to go into the VAT account. Because again, we have mapped the system in such a way that every money, I'm going to be showing you when you go to VAT, to this account mapping. So every money goes to a specific account, making management extremely easy. You know how much have you collected, how much of that belongs to the agent, how much is expenses, how much is VAT payable, how much is VAT receivable. All those things are done. So if you want to charge VAT, make sure you leave that there. We are done with identity. Let's go to collection. Location. Where is your property located? Country, most likely Kenya. But we have minimum. So if it's not in Kenya, you can pick Angola, whatever. But let's leave this simple. Let's put it Kenya. This county. In which county? 047 is Nairobi, so we can say it's in Nairobi County. Again, you can put whatever county that thing is in. The town, let's say it's again Nairobi, but you can put in wherever other town that is in, or whatever other place you want to identify your property with, where is the closest place that you can name that. Then here we have the landmark. What can you say is the landmark of your property? We don't have to put that. Here we have GPS latitude and GPS longitude. Again, they are not mandatory. You can always populate those later, and you can also go to the property and pick auto-populate. It's going to populate this and this for you. But again, this is outside the scope of today's video, and this is important. If, for example, you have a new house manager, you do not need to scratch your head trying to imagine what you're going to tell them is the location of the property. You just give them the account, they log into their account, and by so doing, they will immediately know where this property is by using navigation. You see, today we are using something we call Google Maps. So they will go to the property, click on it, the system will take them where the property is. Amazing. Then here we have physical address. If anything you want to describe as a description of your property, physical address, you put it there. I mean, Kamakis 1 2 3 4 5 6 XYZ, put it there. And then here we have the access instructions. Go to alight at bypass, and then take the curve, put that access instructions there. Again, this is mostly for the purpose of your house managers. So we have tried to do this location so detailed that you can hire someone today, give them an account in the system, and they can go straight to where your property is. The other thing is the commissions. Now, this is for the houses that are being managed by a tenant. Oh my goodness, not a tenant, an agent. So you need to pay an agent a commission. The first thing, is the agent is the commission a percentage or a flat rate? If you say flat rate, you need to enter the amount here. If you say it's a percentage, then what's the percentage? Maybe 3, let's do 3%, yeah? And this button, again, VAT applicable. This VAT applicable is only for this commission. So remember when you were in legal and identity, we said that this house is VATable. Now, when we come to commission, for example, let's go with our 100,000 again. So 100,000 is rent collected. 3% of that is 3,000 Kenya shillings. So when you say this is not VATable, what the system is going to do is it's going to take the 100,000, subtract the 3,000. If this is not VATable, if you leave this unchecked, subtract the 3,000, that goes directly to the agent. And therefore, the amount that's going to be VATable for this property is 97,000. If you leave it checked, then the system is going to apply VAT for the entire 100,000. So that's why we have this VATable here. And then here we have money flow. So the rent collection mode. How do you collect rent? Do you collect this rent for this property paid to the owner? By the owner here is the house owner or the lessor. Landlord, landlady. So if you say owner, the system will put all this money into the owner account. I don't mean like take it and put it there. You know, a system does not have really access to the money. What it does is that it will show you in an account in the chart of accounts that this money is not owed by you, it is owed by the owner. And it is also not going to go into your accounting books like balance sheets and your profit and loss accounts, because it's not with you. So we have created an account, and I can show you because I may not go there, I may not go back there again. Let me quickly show you. Allow me. So I quickly go to chart of accounts to show you in which account that money is going to be booked. Let's go to expand all, and we have it's supposed to be an asset account, and we have this. See this? Tenant clearing account. So all the money that you have cleared is going to go into this account. So you have collected, but it's not with you, it is with the agent, rather the landlord. So when you say it's paid to owner, that money goes directly to those accounts. When you say it is paid to agent, now this system assumes that it is being used by the agent. So what is going to happen is that this money is going to affect your books. All right, it is going to directly affect your books. So this is a very important check. It may look small, but it does a mammoth of things behind. So you must make sure that for each and every property you have entered the correct selection. And then in here we have the rent is supposed to be collected by what date? So let's say 5th. And then we have the grace period. We can say maybe another 5 days. So by 10th, all tenants should have paid your rent. Now this amazing checkbox that says late fee enabled is to enable late fee. So for example, if you want to charge your tenants for late fee, someone has not paid by 10th, then you can put here. And again, the system requires you to enter whether you want to charge them by percentage or by a fixed amount. If you say fixed amount, then here you need to put a late fee amount. If you say a percentage, then here you need to put a late fee percentage. Let's go by percentage and say 1%. So every time someone has not paid by 11th, 1% of that is a charge. So they need to pay you that. And then here we have the owner payout details. Again, very powerful selection we have here. So owner is paid out by what? By bank or by mobile money? Mostly by bank. And again, excuse me. This is very important and you're going to be seeing this as we progress. So this we have the payout bank account. And here we have a number of bank accounts again that you can create as a bank account within the system. In this video again, we are not going to go into creating the bank accounts. That is outside the scope. Yeah. Let's just go ahead and pick, for example, this Novate Edge as the account where we want this money to be paid. And then here we have the, we have the account mapping. But before we do account mapping, let me just go ahead and save this. Now, I want you to note two things. Number one, note this mobile number. And number two, note this bank account. Now, I cannot change, I already saved. I can't change it. And I'm going to be demonstrating that to you. For me to change any of them, this person must confirm. So this number, for example, if you are a landlord or a lessor, this number here is very important. It must be your number. So that anytime someone is trying to change this payout bank account, because remember this, the system has enabled mobile money. So tenants can easily pay you from M-Pesa from their portal. So that money, once they pay, it's going to go directly to this account. Now, this account must be protected like a heart. And that is why now it is very difficult to change this number. So make sure it is your number as an agent, rather as a landlord or an agent. This must be your number. Okay? And therefore now, like I said, where after I have saved it, I cannot change it. And let's try, actually. Let's put 2 here and we save. It has refused. It's telling us you cannot have these changes without OTP verification. An OTP will be sent to this number. Click send OTP to continue or cancel. Now, I'm going to show you this end to end. Let me go to Google Meet so that I can be able to share the screen of my phone. You see what is going on. So let me see, just start instant. Oh my goodness, I closed the WhatsApp where I could have sent it quickly, but no problem. So start an instant meeting, that's fine. And then after I say start an instant meeting, I'm still thinking, how am I going to share? But I'll see. So let me do a Gmail quickly. And then in Gmail, we are going to go quickly here. Is it compose? Oh, it's composing forever. My internet is not that great. Let me say I wanted to go to here and no subject, and this is the email. Ideally, that's just the link of our meeting. Leave. Oh my goodness. Wait. Stop. We don't need any of those, so I can even bring this down to disable a lot of noise. So I am now logging into to that email, that meeting here on my phone, and then I'll say ask to join. Amazing, there you go, technology. So pass, There you go. Funga hii. Now, I will share the screen of my phone. So I'll go here and say share and continue, and then I'll say no, share everything, because I don't want to start navigating from one place to another. Cool, there you go. Then I will go to the SMSs. Where is the SMS? The SMS is here. My goodness, wait. Let me go to where is Supersoft? No, that's M-Pesa. Supersoft. So this is the place where we are going to receive the SMS. It's not loading. Why is it not loading SMS? Content hidden. Why is the content hidden? Wait, let's just see. I think it's trying to protect me. Don't watch. What is watch? So let me see how I shared. Okay, so I'll go here. And then, yes. Why is it hiding? Wait. Stop sharing. And then I'll go to Supersoft. So this is where the message is going to come from. I'm going to just go ahead and do. I think it will send. I've been doing this before, so I don't know why. I don't know why it's trying to be cheeky. Share entire screen, and don't worry, this is my screen. So there you go. Let's go ahead and try to change this number and see what is going to happen there. Okay. So I put 2. So what's going to happen now when I do this, I must send an OTP to this number before I can change this number. So if I say send, an OTP is going to be sent to my phone, and I don't know why it's not showing here. So I have actually received it, but unfortunately I can't see it here. I don't know what's happening with this share. I have received, and the OTP is 74. I'm not seeing it. If the OTP is there, so you need to enter that OTP here. The OTP is 748851. I can't put it because I don't know whose number is this. So if I do that now, this person must confirm that they are changing for me to be able to redo to undo it. So I can't really do that. I have to leave it there. Now the other important thing is here in the payout details. Now I can't change this. Let's change. Let's see. I put this one, and then I save. Again, the same number, which is my number. Now I can change this one. Remember it was Novate. Now I want to change this to this Karanis. And remember, these are bank accounts that are in your system. It's not bank accounts that are from anywhere else. You created them, and still nobody can change where the money goes. Only with your permission, as a lessor or an agent. So now let me send the OTP. The OTP for this one is, let me use for it, is 771440. So 771440. Let's say we do 1441. We miss. So 771440. And we did 1441. Verify, boom, failed. It's not correct. So it's 1440. And when I do that and click on verify, now the system is happy, it has changed. So this bank account has changed. That's how dearly we have protected. Let me close this. That's how dearly we have protected the bank account. Now, I know you may be wondering, but I can just create another bank account, right? Listen, it is not that easy. Let me show you. If you come to bank accounts, if you come to bank account list, and you click and you come here and say, I want to actually the one that is already here, this one, let me change. Yeah. Let me change this account number. I put 5. If you try to do that, again, the same thing. You must confirm. So anything touching on your bank accounts, the phone number you put as the default phone number, or as we are calling it, wait, what are we calling it? We are calling it payout security phone. This number is critical, and therefore anything touching on your bank accounts, this one must be changed. So not even us as developers can change it. I mean, this is a phone that is seriously protected for your sake. Cool. We were here, so we are done with that. The other important thing I want to show you when creating the property, because I want you to see how robust the system is this part. And this is, we have a number of accounts. This is where you map where you want the money to go when it is paid, all right? Or how you want the system to treat the different payments that are coming in. Trust owner payable account. This is an account where you hold money that belongs to the owner. So I think I have an account that I've got trust owner. So all the money that you owe the owner of the house, for example, if you are an agent, all the money you owe the lessor is going to go into this account. You must not call it this. We are going to get your accounts the way you want to call them. Of course, we create them in the chart of accounts for you, and then we select them here. So that way, it will be very easy for you. By looking at the statements, you'll be very quickly able to know which account is holding the money that I owe the owner of the house. And then here we have the tenant AR account. This is where all the money, tenant AR, this is where all the money that you owe the tenant receivables. It's supposed to be tenant receivables. So all the money that you have collected or you have invoiced the tenant is going to sit in this account. So again, every time you invoice, the money is going to go here. But this is if the property, in this property, the money is coming to you as the agent. If you said it is the property, the money is paid directly to the lessor, then the tenant AR receivables is going to be on the side of the lessor, not on your side as an agent. Then here we have deposit liability. This see deposits. Let me put deposit here first. Tenant deposits. So the reason we are calling it liability is because the moment a tenant comes and pays you, for example, a deposit of 50,000 as deposit for the house, that money does not belong to you. It's your liability. So even if you go to the chart of accounts, actually let me quickly take you back there again. Allow me, and I'm sorry for that. If I take you back to the chart of accounts, and then I say I just want to expand all, you're also going to see if I do this tenant deposits, you'll notice that it is lying under liabilities. So it's a liability. Tenant deposits is a liability, and currently there is 30,000 there. So all the money that you have that belongs to tenants is going to sit in this account. So if in the event that a tenant has damaged something and you have deducted it from their deposit, then this account is going to keep reducing. So all the money that you currently owe the tenants is going to be visible at one point, the account you pick here. Commissions is your commission. So again, this makes it easy for you to see. It makes it easy for you to see property management commission, how much money you have made from the properties, all right, from this specific property here. So you pick that account there and you're able to see that figure in one place. Then here we have VAT payable. It's going to be, I think I must have an account called payable. Yeah, there you go. So here we have VAT payable account. So this is where the money, you remember the VAT that we are looking at when you are the command center, the agent command center. That money again is going to be visible at one point. So we remember in VAT we have two categories. We have the VAT payable and we have the VAT receivable. Now this is payable, the one that you need to pay the government. VAT receivable is the one that you are supposed to receive, and therefore the amount you remit to the government is going to be VAT payable minus VAT receivable. If it's a positive, then the balance you pay to the government. If it's a negative, you don't need to pay anything, but the system tracks both. And then here you have the cost center, which I'm just going to put as main. Then in operations, this is where you can just put in more details about your property, like who is the property manager, who is the emergency contact in that property. I mean, here you have another emergency contact number. So this is the name and their phone number. Then you have default SLA template. That is service level agreement. You can also create service level agreement templates within the system, ladies and gentlemen. So what this means is, but again, this is outside the scope of today's video. You can do agreements within the system digitally. Everybody signs online. Paperwork, dead. We don't want paperwork. So you can do that there, and then you can select the default SLA template per property. So all the tenants in that specific property are going to use the same template. And you can have multiple templates. So you don't have to use like one template for all your tenants. Of course, you can do that if you want to do that. But if you have different templates for whatever reason, then you do not have a limit to the number of templates you can create there. Let me save. And just like that, now we have all the information we need to be able to collect money into this property. So now if we quickly go back to command center, you'll notice that down here now we have two houses. And this one has 0 vacants, but of course it also has zero houses. What about a house? How do we create a unit? Because now we have a property, right? Ion flat. What about a unit? It's here. Unit list. So if you come to unit list, currently we have 3, and all of them belong, all of them belong to one property, okay, which is 001. But if you look, but rather also if you look here at the status, you can see we have 2 occupied and 1 vacant. Let's create one more. And this one more is going now to be in our Judah Heights. So you need to pick the property. Did I move fast there? I think I moved fast, right? So you come to the list of the units, and then you can add a new unit. This black button here with white text, if you click on it, the first thing you do is to pick the property where you are putting this, you want to put this house, and then you select your property, and then the unit code. Let's say the unit code is what? Let's say 2001. It's just what about 9001? Just a guesswork of something. It must not be very serious. It's just a way of identifying this unit, and also it could be the way you have labeled the doors, because remember sometimes, actually most of the times, there are labels at the doors, so that could be what goes here and here. And then here you have the unit type. Is it a bed sitter all the way to other? Let's say it's a 2-bedroom house. We can put here which floor it is, the number of bedrooms in there, you can say 2. And this is very important because we also have a listing site, so where you can list these properties. So it is very important, this one, because this is what is going to display on the other side. Bathrooms, it's also 2. Square foot, if you want to put that, you can put it. It's not mandatory. Now this bank account you must not select, and again this is again protected, so you cannot just pick anything. All right, so you don't need to pick this one here. The only time you need to pick this bank account is when you want the tenant in this house to pay the money in a different account, bank account, from the one that is at the property. Did I make myself clear? Let me repeat. You have a property, and we say the property goes pays all the tenants in that property pays to an account called Standard Chartered account ABC. But you have 1 tenant, 2 tenants, or even the whole floor within your apartment, where you want your tenants to pay to a different account number, or rather different bank account. Then all you need to do is pick that account here at the unit level. So you go to each of those units which you want the account numbers to be different, and pick the exact account number you want to use. Again, remember that field is protected, so not anybody can just come and pick an account there randomly. You as the owner of the account must, rather not account, but you as the owner of the property, or the manager of the property in charge of it, must confirm that is actually the correct position. I believe I made myself clear there. If it's not clear, please reach out. We are more than happy to assist you. Then here we have service charge enabled. If you want to charge for service charge, you pick that. And then here we have service charge ownership. Who is the owner of the service charge? So for example, if you are charging 3,000 as the service charge for this property, where does the money go? If you say it goes to the owner, what are going to be is that in that amount of money that you owe the owner of the house or the lessor, the service charge is going to go there. So it's going to be treated as money that you should pay the lessor. If you say the money belongs to the agency, then the money stays with you. It becomes your income. and I'm leaving it there. Then here we have the service charge amount. Let's use the same 3,000 that we said. Then you have this default rent amount. Default rent amount, we can say it's 55,000 for example. My goodness, that's 550,000. And then you have the deposit. So you can have 55,000, the same amount, or if you charge double, you can do it's 110,000. If you do 2 months deposit and then 1 month rent, when a tenant is coming in. So that's all you need to do there. And then here we have the billing frequency. Now, this amount, do you want to bill monthly, do you want to bill quarterly, or do you want to bill yearly? If you say yearly, the system is going to generate invoices for an entire year, and then you can keep collecting them. The assumption is that this amount is for the year, so it's going to split it down 12 months. If you say quarterly, it will divide by 4. If you say monthly, divide by 1. Then here you have the house status. Most of these are going to be automatically populated, so you just leave it as is. Current list, leave it as is. It is going to automatically populate. Notes, if there is any notes you want to keep, you keep them here. So anything ideally about this house, keep them there. Save, and you are good. That's all we need to do, ladies and gentlemen, about creating a unit. It is not as serious as the property, because you know properties have a lot of stuff. So you must do very sober setup for the property. Beauty, just once. Now, if you go back to our dashboard, remember the dashboard we had. Now I need to give it a refresh. It's supposed to show me that it has 1 vacancy, and you can see there we have 1. But now generally here you can see now vacant units we have 2, because now we have 2 properties that have 2 vacant units. Okay, cool. The other thing that I want to show you now is the lease. Okay, so let's go to lease. We want to lease this thing to somebody. Okay, so we have one lease here that's on notice, and then we have another one that is very active. The tenant has no intention of leaving. So let's add another lease. We want to add a lease for that property. So Judah, and when you say Judah, all the units are going to appear here are only those from Judah. Again, this is not going to be giving you useless lists from all over. So that's going to give you only the houses or the units in Judah. And then here you can pick the tenant. Again, the tenant, you can either pick existing or you can create another. Again, the details of creating a tenant are outside the scope of this video. We are happy to do that for you as a customized demo, where you ask us all those questions that you are having. Let's say it's Jackie picking. Wait, Jackie. Yeah, that's fine. Then here we can say the tenant contact. You can pick that one. And then the tenant user. Now we don't need tenant user. We save. Oh my goodness, I just did this part. We need more. Tenant lease terms. So lease terms, we can leave it as draft. And then here we have the lease start date. Lease start date is when the lease started. Say it's February 1st. And then here we have the lease end date. If we know the lease end date, we can say it's December, let's say it's 31st of December 2027. Okay. And then here we have the billing frequency for this lease. Again, we can pick there if it's different, and the amount is going to be there. And then all the other things are populated for you. You do not need to do anything there, unless if you want to change this. Lent due date, you can say 5th, but again, this is just in case it's different from the one that was in the property. You can put that specific one in the lease. So we have made sure that that one is so granular that you can literally achieve anything you want to achieve there. Penalty rules. Do you charge a penalty? If you say yes, then you need to pick. Is it a flat or a percentage? A flat. Percentage rather, 1. Again, this is only if it is different from the one that is in the property. Documents. This is agreement. If, for example, you have done an outside agreement, outside the system agreement. What do I mean by outside agreement? That doesn't make sense, right? Outside agreement. Maybe that doesn't make sense. But outside the system agreement. So you can put it here. So you just went, did whatever, scanned it. You can come here, pick it from your device, select it, and you upload. So that goes here That's the agreement. The other thing is the moving report. Ladies and gentlemen, these are critical. I have to show you this one. Moving report, let me actually save so that I don't lose my data. Moving report is what is the status of everything when this tenant is coming in. Let's show you. Let me show you. If you come here, you have the lease, all right? You have the property, you have the unit, and then here you have the inspection date. When was it inspected? Today, for example. Keys issued. You need to say whether you issued the keys to the tenant or not. All right. And then here we have the tenant signed. If the tenant signed, if there is any photo to attach, you attach all the photos here, or rather the photo of the tenant. If you want to attach the tenant signature, you attach the tenant signature here. But the tenant can also sign on screen. Ladies and gentlemen, they don't need to attach anything here. And we are also going to be showing you that outside the scope of this video. So you just go with your tablet or your phone and you give them and they sign on screen. My goodness, that's very exciting. Then here we have meter readings, or you put all the current meter readings before the tenant comes in here so that you don't have a dispute later when maybe a month is gone or maybe they want to leave and they start having a problem. So here you are going to put that information here. Then here we have a checklist. Everything that you want to check, you can put here. For example, front door, and here you can pick condition: good, fair, poor, missing, damaged. Say fair. And then the cost estimate in case the tenant breaks. Again, because you know it could be that when a door is broken, you tell the tenant it's worth 8,000, they start arguing that it's 3,000. So you need to put here when they are coming in, so they are not going to have any problem when there is an issue that needs to be sorted. The last thing here is any notes. So any notes you may have, go here. So you can put your notes there, and you can do multiple rows. There's no limit as to how many things you can capture. So make sure you do an inspection of every part in the property, or rather in the unit, before the tenant comes in, and then you're going to attach that to the lease. I don't have to save that, I was just demoing to you. So this is the moving report, and then we have the same for move out. So when they are moving out, you need to come to that lease and then you go ahead and do the move out report, which is ideally going to be the same thing, but now you want to confirm whether everything is the same condition as was or better when they are getting out. Then here we have automation and control. If you want the system to automatically generate the invoices, you can do that. Here you just check that and it's going to automatically do that. Then here you can say the next invoice date. So when you say, for example, the next invoice date is 28th, then it's going to generate the invoices on 28th due for 5th. All right. So this is automatic. Nobody will need to do anything. But what I can say is, if you are doing manual house meter readings, you don't enable this. So just let someone just come to the billing center and bill for the properties after all the readings have been done. So it is just going to be again one click, not like you go to each unit and bill. And again, that's outside the scope of this video. But what happens is that you go to the property and then you bill, and all the invoices for that property go out to tenants. All right. But this one, if for example you're not charging for the water separately, you can enable this so that you don't have to scratch your head coming back here to bill anything. So you just leave it as checked, and the system will automatically do the heavy lifting for you. It will go and generate the invoices for you while you are on vacation. Let me remove it. I don't want it. I don't want this either. And then here we have the rent schedule. Rent schedule, don't have to put anything. Okay, let me first of all save, show you how the rent schedule is. There's nothing, but now I need to just come here and say that this lease is active. So when I say active, the reason why it was not generating the schedule is because the lease was not active. If I put it as active and I save, now the system automatically generates for me the schedule. So the schedule, for the example, the people who are charging per annually or quarterly, this is amazing. Okay, and even if you are charging monthly, this is what the system is going to be using to to know. Instead of straining the system every time with invoices, or rather with creating the invoices from gathering information from all over the system, it's going to come to the rent schedule immediately, and it knows exactly what needs to go where. All right, perfect. Because you can see we have service charge, we have rent, so it's just going to come to this one record. It's not going to look at all the documents you have in the system. Yeah. And also you can see here we have the sales invoice number, which is not yet there because we have not invoiced. All right. Now, something else I need to tell you. The deposit is not treated as an invoice. So if you check the invoices, currently we do not have any invoice for. If you go to sales invoice, we do not have any invoice for, you see, we don't have any invoice created today. And we have already an active tenant here who just came in, who already owes us at least 110K. So what we do is that money goes to another place, because I mean, again, remember, that's not your income. So we cannot do a sales invoice for it. It's not an income for you. So we have another place, which is called deposit request. So deposit request, if you come here, you notice that there is one that is 1 minute old, and it is for 110, and it is for Jacqueline. If you open it, you'll notice that it is our property. It is our details. This is the unit 0029001. So this tenant owes us 110,000 as deposit. All right. Yeah, so that's how we have handled the accounting. Very serious in accounting, so that you don't have to get your stuff wrong. Now, after we have done that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to finish this video, but I need to show you this. If you come here, after you have done this, you can send a welcome SMS. So when I click on send, the SMS is sent. Wait. There. Did you hear? That means the SMS went. So this is the link. Let's copy this and we put it here. And what the system is telling us, in that SMS that went there, this is a tenant portal. Remember, we have sent this to tenant portal. I need to log out. I was logged in. Let me just log out. So this is the tenant portal. And this is the SMS that was sent to them, telling them to click on this link. And then the SMS is telling them to come here, click on forget PIN, then put in the mobile number, 07, that one, and then click on send OTP. When they click on send OTP, they need to put that OTP there and then put in the new PIN. Let's say, for example, I put that. Let me check. Let me go and pick that phone and pick what is the OTP. Ladies and gentlemen, give me a second. Two 14,661. 214,661. So I got, this is the OTP and this is the PIN I put. So this is my secret. Reset. And when I click reset, the system resets this. And note that this can actually be done on the phone. It must not be a serious screen like this one. It can be the phone also. So on the phone is going to look something like this. Now I can log in with the same details, and then the PIN that I put here, sign in. Boom, I should be in. And yes, I am. So once I am in, my goodness, you can see the invoice that we saw there as overdue is here. It is here. It is complaining. So the tenant can see very quickly when they log in whether they have an overdue invoice, and it is going to show there screaming. Now we want to invoice them more. You can see here the total outstanding is only 6,000, which is the overdue one. But remember that this tenant just came in, but the reason why this is not showing is because we have not invoiced yet. Do you notice this 1st of February is not invoiced from our schedule? So what we need to do is just to come to rent and say invoice next period. Simple as that, ladies and gentlemen, and it's done. So it's saying due date cannot be before posting date. So what we can do here is change this invoice due date, because the posting date, you see the posting date is today, so we can say the invoice due date, let's just put it for that, and we save, and then we come here and say generate invoice for the next period and click on submit. So when we were doing that, the invoice has been generated and the tenant will receive an SMS. There you go. So now when you come here, there is something I want to show you. If you say this, if you click on this auto submit invoice, it's going to become a real invoice. But when you don't check it, the system will not submit it. So it will create it, but it will not confirm the invoice. But when you leave it as checked, the way I did, it will create and confirm the invoice. So now, if you come here, you see this one is saying invoice. If you open it, if you open this, now you can see here we have a sales invoice. Did you remember this one didn't have? So if you look, for example, at the second row, this one, which says pending, if you open, there is no invoice here. But if you look at this, which says invoiced, this has an invoice here. So it is going to also show you in the rent schedule which rows are invoiced and which ones are not invoiced. So it is so easy to manage this, ladies and gentlemen, and then you can do everything, really everything from here. You just saw me changing the due date from 5th to 7th from here, and that's all. So now if I go to tenant, you remember this one was only 6,000 and we have a payment here for 55,000 as an invoice. If now this tenant logs in and refresh the system, they are going to see that the payable now is 64,000, which is ideally the 55 plus the 6k that just came in. Was it 50? No, it's 58, sorry, not 55, it's 58. Yeah, 58, because it's 55 plus the 3,000 for deposit. So this invoice is unpaid, this one is overdue, this one is paid. So this is what the tenants are going to see. And then the next due, the system here has the details of the next due invoice, which is this one. And then of course now if they want to see all the invoices, that just need to click on this. Click on this link that says invoices, see everything, all the invoices. If you want to see their receipts, that is the monies they have been paying, here you go. You have 15 shillings, 1 shilling, 2 shilling, all that. And then here with the account, we don't need to really focus a lot on the account today. This is basically an account details where they can also report issues. So they can report issues here, they will come back to your system here in the report issue section, and then you can be able to resolve them, and the tenant is going to see progress as they go. We are not interested in that. We want to see money. To this video we are focused on money. Let's pay this invoice, but not everything. I just want to show you an example, right? But I have to show you this on my phone because I want you to see what really happens. There is that email we sent, right? So go here, click on it. I think the system is not going to prevent us from showing our all right, so it's not going to prevent us from showing our screen this time. Ask to join. Quickly. Oh my goodness, who is? Oh, all right, admit. Cool, now we are in. Now I go back here quickly, share, continue, that screen banner. All right, then I'll go to my browser. And in the browser, pick some new tab. Do I have that one open? No, I don't. So I just need to pick, oh no, what am I doing? I need to pick this one, right? And then I'll see tenant.wavu.app. This is a demo site. This is not a real site. This is a demo site. So I need to log in with the same details I used. No, let me actually, what do I do? Let me log in with the same details. 07, and then the PIN. Sign in. So this is the tenant signing in on their portal. So you as the agent, you are sitting in the office. So what you are looking at there now is the screen of my phone. And you can see on the phone down here, look down here, we have like simulated the real mobile phone experience. So those are tabs. But if you come to the browser, I mean on your desktop, this is what it looks. This is how the menu looks, but on the phone, it looks like this. So if I want to see all my, quickly, when they log in, the tenant logs in immediately, what they see is the status up there. So payment overdue, you have overdue rent, so service charge totaling 6,497, pay to avoid penalties. So they can click on that page there directly and they make a payment. Or they can come down here and also see other details. Alright, you can see other invoices. For example, if you see here, we have a total outstanding of 64,497. Overdue is 64,97. Total unpaid invoices is 2. And this month invoiced is 116. 116 because of also the deposits. So now we have the invoice, we have that, we can also pay from there. We have the rent invoices. You can click on this view all to see all the invoices, but I don't have to do that. But actually this is done. So if I click on this view all, what's going to do ideally is going to take me back to this. So if I click on this view all, it's going to bring me here. All right, let's try that. Click view all. I just clicked, and then it's going to take me to the list of invoices, and we have filters up there. So if I say I want unpaid only, it's going to give me only the unpaid invoices. If I say I want overdue, it's going to give me all the overdue invoices. If I say I want to see only paid, it's going to give me only the paid invoices. And also, let me go back to all. Also here, you can type by anything. You can search by anything. For example, the name, the date, the status, everything you are thinking about. Then here we have the filters. Ordering. You can order by newest, oldest, due date, soonest, or due date latest. You can do that there. And then what is the other thing here? Receipts. You can come to receipts, but I already showed you this. Let's pay, ladies and gentlemen. Let's pay this one. All right. Click on this pay. And then it's going to take you to the details of the page. I mean the details of the invoices. The invoice details is this one. You can see that page. All the details of that invoice. So you can see the invoice number, the post date, the due date you can see is 5th. So the outstanding is 64.97. Down here you can see the invoice items. Rent 55, service charge 3. So you have more like water. Water is also going to show there. And then you have the grand total there as 58. You have the pay invoice. We have the balance. It's showing there nicely in a card. We have the amount that you want to pay. You have the number here which you want to use to pay. I can remove that and put my number. So you can put any number here. So you are prompting someone to pay 07, for example, 2530 That's the number I want to use to pay. So, and then I don't want to pay everything, but let me pay 2 shillings. All right. So the system gives you a summary there. It tells you want to pay 2 shillings or you want to make a full payment. If you click on full payment, it will automatically again populate that field with the total outstanding amount of that invoice. But let's go with 2. And then down here you have the summaries. All right. And you can click on back to invoices. But let's go ahead and pay this one first. Pay. When you click pay, it is processing the payment, and what's going to happen is that it's going to send me an OTP, and there you go. I'm going to go ahead and put in my PIN, and then I click on go, and you are going to see that voila, we are done. Can you see notifications are coming in thick and fast? You can see now. Wait, let me show you. If I come to SMS, is it going to allow you to see? It has hidden it again. So you can see my M-Pesa, and you can also see a message from NCBA Bank because the money has been. There you go. Actually, I saw it. There you go. See this? This one here. So the 2 shillings have been deposited to Novate Edge. So that's NCBA. And why did they go to NCBA? They went to NCBA because, let me show you. Because if you see at the property level, where am I? If you go to property, this, and you come to Judah, you see that in the payout we must have put this in the house, I believe. let's see the house. Go to unit and we pick this specific unit. It's not there. Let's check again. Oh no, that's not the property. Sorry, that invoice was for a different this for this property. All right, and I'll prove that to you. So if you come to payout, sorry, you see this is going to novate. This is going to novate. So the invoice that you are talking about, if I go to sales invoice, you see first of all this is novate. If you now go to sales invoice, sales is written like this. No, sales invoice. You notice that the invoice that we just paid was this one. All right, this is the one that was overdue, so it was here. If you check its property, it's 002. If you click on it, it's this one. Refresh. Oh wait, the invoice that we just paid is which one? The invoice that we paid is this. Which one did we pay? Jackie, overdue. There's an invoice here that's supposed to be overdue. We must have two invoices here. This one we have not paid anything yet, because remember, you can see this is not paid anything. There's another invoice we have paid 2 shillings for, and let's see, it should be, this one is for Karani. Oh, it's this. My goodness, this is overdue. You see this invoice, this overdue invoice, so it's this one. Open it and then you go to property. If you see, it's 001, so this is why it went to novate. See, account details, this goes to novate. Now let's pay the other invoice so that we see where the money goes. We go back to our phone. We go back to our phone here and we go back to Ishi. What are you showing? We go back here and then we click on back to invoices. I click on the button at the bottom. Back to invoices. This one now, this is supposed to pay to Stanchart, and I want to see whether that happens. So you see, this is what we have here. The amount is totally not paid. Nothing is paid here. So let's go ahead and make a payment. We don't want to pay 58,000, of course. We want to pay 3 shillings. Okay. This is just samples. So click on pay. So this is the tenant. Now remember, this is the tenant making the payment. So again, there's going to be a prompt very quickly, and then after the prompt, we are going to put in our PIN, and we are going to click on go. It is still sending, and then after it has finished sending, I have received the message, payment successful. Voila. Let's go and see the messages that have come in. That's M-Pesa. We are not interested in that. We want to see a message from Standard Chartered Bank, and it will come. It will come. I'm waiting for it. So as we wait for it, we can continue and see what has happened to our invoice. All right, so let's go here. Actually it has come. Let's see it first. There you go. Is it going to display that? My. So if I open, it's not displaying really, but the message is here. It has, dear client, Kenya shillings 3 has been credited to your account, and doing that is Standard Chartered. So that has gone to Standard Chartered Bank. Now we can stop sharing the screen here briefly, and then I will show you what has happened to our invoice. But I should have actually shown you from here. Why am I stopping? Let me go back, rejoin. Let me rejoin, so that we see what the tenant sees. We want to see it in raw. We want to see it raw. Share. So let's go back to the but we go back here. And now what we're going to see is that when the tenant refreshes the screen, let's go back to home and see what has happened. Well, we have 2 there, but now if you come to the invoices, this specific invoice that says here unpaid, what is the balance of this invoice? The balance is now 57,997 because they have paid 3 shillings. Can you see that? So the reconciliation happens immediately. Nobody needs to do anything as long as the tenant uses the portal. And if you come to the receipts also, you're going to see all the receipts there. So for example, you can see we have the receipt that we just made for 2 shillings, and you have another receipt that we just made for 3 shillings. If you, for example, open the 3 shillings, it's going to give you all the details. Can you see that? There's the amount paid, the mode was M-Pesa. This reference number is the M-Pesa reference number. It's not a guest number there. And then here we have the reference date, and then here we have remarks. So the system captures all the details, including where you paid, what you paid, also the reference number, who made the payment, and all that. And then here we have the allocations, where the money was allocated, which is ideally into one sales invoice. Okay, so that's all about the tenant portal. Again, that's not everything that the tenant portal can do. That is ideally because we need to finish the video. All right. And now, wait, before we finish, how can we kick out this? So let's say, for example, of course, I can't pay all this amount directly here. Let's go and clear it out. So we go to sales invoice, and this is also going to demonstrate to you how you can pay, for example, if a tenant made this invoice. If the balance is now what? 45, because it was 95 rather, because it was 45 for 97 and we paid 2 bob. So how can we pay this? For example, if a tenant paid in cash, or they did a direct bank deposit or things like those, because we have not integrated the banks, all right? We have not integrated the banks. But that does not mean that this money is going to M-Pesa. What we are doing here is that we are using the bank's pay bill numbers. So that way it gives us the ability to do integration to any bank, any circle, anywhere, including Safaricom itself. But we have not done like Equity Bank to Cooperative Bank. No, we have not done that. But you can still receive money there, and it automatically reconciles. How? Let us explain to you in a meeting. So feel free to call us. So if someone goes and deposits you a check in the bank and brings you deposit slip, how are you going to receive this? For example, let's say this tenant already did it. And you can see the port of this tenant is screaming loud. Now they have this deposit. Excuse me. I mean not deposit, but this balance that is overdue. Let's assume they paid. So we are going to come here, go to the invoice, and then click on create payment. And when you click on create payment, you need to pick here, how did they pay? You can say it's cash, for example. And then here you say the amount they paid. You can say they paid everything, or they paid. If they didn't pay everything, you can just put the amount they paid here. And then you click on save and you submit that payment. And that is this. That's all you need to do. And now when the tenant checks their portal later, they will see that it is up to date. There is an unpaid invoice yet, but all the others are paid, and this whatever is unpaid there is not due. So that is why the system is happy. So here the tenant can see also if they have any payments that need their attention, their quick attention, they can do that from there. Ladies and gentlemen, this video is long, and we have to end it. But I know there is still probably a lot of questions that you are asking, and now that's why we are here. So feel free to reach us, and we are more than happy to take you through the demo of both the portals. Remember, we have not even looked at the reports, so that's again a concept for another video. But when you call us for that amazing meeting, we are going to show you even the reports. We are going to give you all the attention that you need. But for this one, thank you for giving me your time, and I look forward to the next time when we are going to be talking about deploying the system for you. All the best and take care.